Peace be unto you. I am Apostle Benjamin Gaines. I am the pastor of Yahweh's Transitional Church, and I would just want to send out a invitation to those that are out there. I would like to welcome those that are here, those that are watching on other platforms, those that may watch at a later time. We just want to give thanks to the Most High for blessing us to be here on today. It is a pleasure, an honor, and privilege to be able to extend His word and to do His work. I'm going to submit a word of thanks to the Most High. Thank you, Lord, for blessing us to be here on today. We thank you for family provision, Lord. We thank you for the ups and the downs, the ins and outs, good and bad. We thank you for all things, for your word says, in everything give thanks, for this is the will of El and Christos Yehoshua concerning you. So we give you thanks, Lord, and praise for what you've done, what you're doing, and what you plan to do. And we ask that you bless this word and that it will edify someone some way, somehow. And once again, we give you thanks. Hallelujah. Amen. I was thinking about a little off topic. There was a young lady on social media, and she said that during her weight loss journey, she had grace, mercy, and peace. During her weight loss journey, she had lost 300 pounds, at that time. And during her weight loss journey, she is now down to 300 pounds. Whereas the people left in the comments, you didn't lose that weight. You had surgery, you had this, and you had that. And it was so sad because, as opposed to celebrating with her for the fact that she was 300 pounds less than what she was, that she lost something that she did not want to have, they were getting on her for not losing it the way that they felt like she should have. Sometimes in life, we have to celebrate people for what we let go of. It doesn't matter how we let go of it. It doesn't matter how things were done. It doesn't matter how the weight was lost. The Bible says, "Let us therefore let lay aside the weight of the sins and things that do so easily beset us." But we have to pick why it was not right, or it was not good for us that person lost what they lost. The bottom line is they got rid of something that they didn't need. And I would like to say, in a personal address off the topic of what we're speaking on today, let people celebrate what they celebrate. If they feel it's a blessing that they let something go of their lives, whether it's persons, whether it's things, or anything else like that, if they're giving thanks to the Lord for release, let them celebrate. The word says, "Oh, magnify the Lord with me." And we have to learn how to do that. You have to simply learn how to do that and not always try to be critical for why someone else is giving thanks. So I want to say um, that we were reading on the last time that uh, David was on the run, and how Saul was mad and tried to throw his spear at Jonathan for letting David go away. He was mad at McCall, and McCall had to lie and say that David, um, or Dawid, whose name means beloved, had threatened to kill her. And it is a very sad thing that it seems like everybody that is connected some way to him ends up being um, in some type of issue or trouble or something like that. And it was, definitely who Saul is. But David, there are a lot of things. If I were to ask someone who David was in the Bible, or what is there something that we can say about who David or David actually is, a lot of people would say he was the shepherd boy. David was the one who defeated Goliath. David was the king of Israel and Judah. The many things that they would say, but there is one thing that is never said um, about David. That he was the one that the lineage of our Messiah came. He was the man after Elohim's own heart. But we never say that David was a narcissist and habitual liar. He was a narcissist and he was a habitual liar and a deceiver. And this is the crazy thing, because we never express, and this is not going against who he was, because regardless of what he was, the word says that he was a man after Elohim's own heart. Okay, so now we have to find out that not everything or anyone that is in a position or a place that has status or anything else like that has had a good heart. It just lets us know in our minds and in our spirits that the Most High can use anybody to do anything, anyone to do anything. And so I'm going to give you some instances, like McCall deceived Saul for David so he can escape, as we read last week in the 19th chapter. And the purpose was to protect the innocent person. You know what I mean? She was supposed to protect her husband, who David was. Chapter 20, David asked Jonathan to say that he had permission to go to visit his family, so that he didn't go to the dinner where Saul was having, because he felt like he was in danger. Okay, David deceives the king Ahimelech, which we will read later on, to protect, helping him be David the fugitive. You know what I mean? As we'll read later on, David, fakes insanity to the king of Gath. You know what I mean? So as you see, many times there are many instances in many places that we see that David was a deceiver. He also, when he was with Bathsheba, because he was a king and he got what he wanted, he made, told her that he wanted to have sex with her, knowing that it was Uriah, his right hand man in the army that he fought on. It was his wife. And he had sex with her and got her pregnant, and then had Uriah killed because he wanted Uriah to come home and act like he wanted to make love to his wife while the other men were on the battlefield fighting, and he did not want to stay. David wanted him to make love to his wife so it can look like he got her pregnant, as opposed to David. So he was a deceiver in many ways. And those are just a few things. And I'm going to continue to read on. There are many things that the ecclesia or the church arena is not going to teach us about the people that we know about. Not that we know, but we know about. That means we know some things. The word says in Proverbs 4:7 that wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. So we have to know, hey, David was a nymph. Hey, but the Lord is able to use, if he can use me, he definitely can use someone else. You know what I mean? So we're going to read from 1 Samuel 21. It says, David went to Nob, to Ahimelech the priest. I want to explain his name, Ahimelech. Ach is brother in Hebrew, and Melech is king. So his name means brother of the king, or the king is my brother. And Ahimelech trembled when he met him and asked, "Why are you alone? Why is there no one with you?" And David answered Ahimelech the priest, and he says, "The king has sent me on a mission and said to me, 'No one is to know anything about the mission I'm sending you on. As for my men, I have told them to meet me at a certain place. Now then, what do you have on hand? Give me 5 loaves of bread or whatever you can find." But the priest answered to David, "I don't have any ordinary bread on hand. However, there is some consecrated bread here, provided the men have kept themselves from women." And David replied, "Indeed, women have been kept from us as usual whenever I set out. And the men's bodies are holy, even on missions that are not holy. How much more so today?" So the priest gave him the consecrated bread, since there was no bread there except the bread of the presence that had been removed from before the Lord and replaced by hot. Grace, mercy, and peace. How are you, sir? Except for the bread of the presence that had been removed from before the Lord and replaced by hot bread on the day it was taken away. So I'm going to elaborate a little bit. Um, the priest was being loyal to Saul and fearing David because he said, "Why are you here alone? Like, why would this man be uh, traveling alone?" And he's one of the actually on the run from Saul, and he's one of the fierce fighters that would always be protected. So it seems rather strange for him to pop up and not be with someone. And so David lies once again. I said David was a habitual liar, as I said, and he tells the priest that Saul sent him on a mission and that no one is to know about it. When actually the reason David was around was because he was running from Saul. But in order for David to be able to get the priest to be on his side with his allegiance to Saul, David lied once again. Now, some people would think or say, "Oh, he was lying to save his life." The Bible lets us know that we should not lie. It didn't give us a reason that lying is justified. David consistently lied, as I said, as we read last week, and we will read further on. David was a consistent liar. And this is one of the times he lied to the priest. And so the priest says, David asked the priest for bread or something like that he could spare. And the priest said, "Well, I don't have any regular bread, but I have the bread of the presence." That's just called the consecrated bread, which is solely for Aaron's sons or the priesthood. So I'm going to read Leviticus 24:5. It says, "Take the finest flour and bake 12 loaves of bread using 2/10 of an ephah in each loaf, and arrange them in 2 stacks, 6 in each stack, on the table of pure gold before the Lord. By each stack, put some pure incense as a memorial portion to represent the bread and to be food offering presented to the Lord. This bread is to be set before the Lord regularly, um, Sabbath after Sabbath, on behalf of the Israelites in the lasting as a lasting covenant, and it belongs to Aaron and his sons, who are to eat it in the sanctuary area, because a most holy part of their perpetual share of the food of the offering is presented to the Lord." So as you see, the priesthood is supposed to be the ones that have that bread. Now the priest was trying to be, because first off, he's fearing David a little bit, but he's also reverencing the fact that Saul sent him on a mission. So knowing that that bread was consecrated, he still gave David the bread. And he says that uh, if your men have not been with women, then you can have it. So David explains, like, look, every time we step out, my men have not been with a woman, even on a when we head out to do something that is not, holy. And he said, and you should take the fine flour. And so they make sure that they got everything good and they stacked everything up. But now the priest, knowing better, is still going to give David the bread. Now, one of Saul's servants was there that day, detained before the Lord, and he was Doeg the Edomite, um, Saul's chief shepherd. And David asked Ahimelech, don't you have a spear or a sword here? I haven't brought my sword. So once again, he lies, or any other weapon because the king's mission was urgent. So he's lying again. And the priest replied, the sword of Goliath the Philistine, whom you killed in the valley of Elah, is here and wrapped in a cloth behind the ephod. And if you want it, take it. There is no sword here but that one. And David said, there is none like it. Give it to me. So as you see, David was in the enemy's camp because they had Goliath's sword. So he was actually in the enemy's camp, and he was so covered by the Most High that he remembered the sword that he defeated when Saul first put him on the mission. I defeated Saul, the Philistine giant that nobody else was able to do. And the priest even had to remind him, he said, listen, the sword that you killed the Philistine giant with is here. You can use that one. And we can understand that David continued his lie about Saul's business because David is desperately trying to avoid the king's business. But right now, his business is to make sure he can stay alive. And surely, if he has to remember that sword, I see that sword as a remembrance to me that I'm the one that killed the giant, that Saul, the one that I'm running from, could not defeat. And sometimes the Lord just needs to give us a reminder that if I was able to defeat one person, just like he told Saul, I've defeated lions and bears, so if I can defeat Saul, and this is the proof, this is his sword, then if I can defeat Goliath, I can definitely stand up against Saul and don't have to be going crazy trying to escape from my life. And so that day, David fled from Saul and went to Achish, the king of Gath. But the servants of Achish said to him, isn't this David, the king of the land? Isn't he the one that they sing about in their dances? That Saul has slain his thousands and David his tens of thousands? And David took these words to heart and was very much afraid of Achish, the king of Gath. So he pretended to be insane. Once again, David, in his deception, pretended to be insane in their presence. And while he was in their hands, he acted like a madman, making marks on the doors of the gate and letting saliva run down his beard. And Achish, his servants, said to his servants, look at this man. He is insane. Why bring him to me? I am so short of madmen, and you have to bring me this fellow to carry on like this in front of me. Must this man come into my house? So now we're looking at not only that, David is doing a lot of running and a lot of deception, but now he's going again to the Philistine camp, and he wants to act like he's crazy. He wants to act like he's crazy. And once again, people will justify this thing just simply to say that David had a reason to do that. There is actually no reason that the Lord is going to justify what he said not to do. What he said not to do. We have to understand that in our places that we say, oh, the Lord understands me, the Lord is not justifying. Just like in the Bible, we see a lot of the men and had concubines and things like that. Um, by the Most High. So when we look at all these different things that we do on today, and once again, not to say that we cannot be used, because the Lord is able to use David, and actually, he's one of the greatest uh, persons that are mentioned in the Bible. But David loved the Most High. Okay, he served the Most High. He was a man after the Most High's own heart, which means that he didn't do like the Most High did, but whatever the Most High said to do, he followed it. So in this, we see that David is still on the run, but he's acting um, like he's doing things that he's not doing. He's deceiving. He made his wife McCall lie and say um, that David was sick, so that Saul didn't get him. Then he goes and he lies again, and he has Jonathan to say, uh, tell your father that I asked you to go away. I asked for permission so I can go see my family, which I actually didn't do. I just wanted to get away so that he wouldn't kill me. And so now he goes to the priesthood, and the sacred bread that is not supposed to, be there for anybody but the priest. David was not a priest, but because he said he was on a mission for Saul, then he's going to go and act like his oh, my men need the food and stuff like that because I'm on a mission. I have to make sure that they understand that we need food and everything. And even if I know that bread is sacred, I want to have it because we need something to eat. And it's such a sad thing because we see the ones that are seen as, I will quote unquote say, the best of us, are the ones who do things like that. David knew better than that, but he wanted what he wanted. Once again, David was a narcissistic person. He wanted what he wanted, just like Bathsheba. He wanted what he wanted. He did what he had to do. He took what he wanted to have. And David is, just that type of person. So now Saul is going to come and see the priest. It says, now Saul heard that David and his men had been discovered, and Saul was seated, um, spear in hand, and under the tamarisk tree on the hill that is at Gibeah, and with all his officials standing at his side. And he said to them, listen, men of Benjamin, will the son of Jesse give you all the fields and vineyards? Will he make you all his commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds? Is this why you have all conspired against me? So now he's trying to put a guilt trip on his soldiers. And he said, no one tells me when my son makes a covenant with the son of Jesse, talking about David. No one is concerned. No one is concerned about me or tells me that my son has incited my servant to lie and to wait for me, as he does today. But Doeg the Edomite, okay, but Doeg the Edomite, who was standing with Saul's officials, said, I saw the son of Jesse come out of Ahimelech, once again, whose name's my brother is the king, or the king is my brother, the son of Ahitub at Nob. And Ahimelech inquired of the Lord for him, and he also gave him provisions and the sword of Goliath the Philistine. And the king sent for the priest of Ahimelech and Ahitub, I'm sorry, and all the men of his family who were the priest of Nob. And they all came to the king, Saul, and said, listen now, son of Ahitub. Yes, my lord, he answered. Saul said to him, why have you conspired against me, you and the son of Jesse, giving him bread and the sword that and inquiring of Elohim for him, so that he is rebelled against me, and he lies in wait for me, as he does today. And Ahimelech answered to the king, who of all of your servants is as loyal as David? The same thing that Jonathan was saying. The king's son-in-law, the captain of your bodyguard, and the highly respected in your household. Was that day the first time I inquired of Elohim? Of course not. Let not the king accuse your servant or any. I don't know if okay, well it keeps coming in. All right. Let not the king accuse your servant or any of the father's family, for your servant knows nothing about all of this whole affair. So he's letting the king know, like, whatever's going on between you and David, the only thing I know is who he is, and I know he's loyal, and I know he's your bodyguard, and he said he was about your business, so I trusted what he said. He defeated Goliath that you couldn't defeat. He stood up, on the Lord's behalf, and has been fighting for the Israelites since he's done that. So who was more loyal than him? If he wanted to do something, it could have been done. He said, I don't know anything about this. So then the king ordered the guards at his side turn and kill the priests of the Lord, because they too have sided with David, and they knew he was fleeing, yet they did not tell me. So you see Saul's heart. He said, kill the priest. Kill the priest. I'm going to see if anybody has a question or anything they want to add before I continue. Okay. And it said, but the king's officials were unwilling to raise a hand to strike the priests of the Lord. And the king then ordered Doeg, you turn and strike down the priests. So Doeg, the Edomite, because the Edomites hated the Israelites anyway, and Doeg the Edomite turned and struck them down. And that day he killed 85 men who wore the linen ephod. And he also put the sword to Nob, the town of the priest. So with its men and women and its children and infants and cattle and donkeys and sheep. This is how Saul hated David, that because someone that didn't even know what was going on with David was affiliating with him and gave him something to eat, Saul killed him even though he was a priest. Even though he was a priest. And it was only because of Saul's jealousy of who David was and what he was. It is one of the saddest things that we'll find this no matter where we go. People will get mad at anyone who decides to, assist in any kind of way. I see in the chat. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That Saul is in this insane mindset. Saul that started off humble. Saul that started off with a meek spirit that had desire to do what the Most High said to do. That same Saul is the one that's trying to kill the appointed of the Most High because he's jealous of who he is. That's the same Saul that now wants to be sure that David is killed. He's the same Saul that was going to kill his son because he helped David escape. He threw the spear at Jonathan before helping Saul. This is the Saul that the Lord had told you all before. This is what he's going to be, and this is how he's going to do. So now he wants to kill, and David is on the run, and David is deceiving the priest. And once again, it looks like everybody that comes in contact with David ends up being someone in trouble. So now not only that priest, but the priests that were with him and the town next to them have to suffer because of David coming through. And so understand, when people are running around saying, I want to dance like David danced, can you do or endure what David had to go through? When you want to feel like you want to celebrate because that's the only thing, like I said, that people know about David. He danced out of his clothes, and that doesn't mean he danced naked. He danced out of his priestly garments. But the fact that people know a limited amount, not that he was, not even the fact that he was, running as a vigilante or a fugitive. Not the fact that he was an habitual liar, not the fact that he was a narcissist, not all of these different things that is make it essential as to why the Most High can use him even in those errors that he has. That should be not something that we hide, but inspiration for us to know that no matter what we go through or who we are or what we do, the Most High is still able to use us for his purpose. He is still able to take us and use us. And now he's gone again and he goes into the land and acts like he's crazy. Saliva coming down so that the king doesn't bother him. Like, man, ain't nobody thinking about him. He's a nut. So David was, not just lying, but he was a professional liar. So it said but the son of Ahimelech said to Ahitub, named Abiathar, um, he escaped and fled to join David. He told David that Saul had killed the priest of the Lord. Then David said to Abiathar, that day when Doeg the Edomite was there, I knew he would be sure to tell Saul. I am responsible for the death of the whole family. Stay with me and don't be afraid. The man who wanted to kill you is trying to kill me, and you will be safe with me. Now, even though he knew, like, I can protect you, he's letting him know that it is not even you that they want. It's me that they want. It's me that they want. And it's a sad thing that we have to they used to do a thing called that number 39, which is the number of the Old Testament books in the Bible. It is 13 times 3. And when you, even back in the day when you said that you were following the Lord, they would give you 40 lashes save one, which is 39. They knew what you would have to go through just to say you are who you are. And so this young man is with David, and he does not want to, be where they're killing everybody. But, I'm with David. I might die that much more. And if David is doing all this lying and stuff like that, what is he going to lie about, concerning me? But sometimes you just have to use trust. You just have to use trust. It is a crazy thing that we have to look and see David on the run so much from Saul. David had the ability to kill Saul if he wanted to. He had on many occasions the opportunity to do so. But because of who Saul was, David was not willing to touch him. He was not willing to go and do anything. And also because it was Jonathan's father. So his love for Jonathan would not let him hurt Jonathan's father, even though he didn't treat Jonathan any better than he treated David. There are simple things that hold us together. Many times we want to speak, and many times we want to say things that we know that if we say it, it will be out of order, it will be inappropriate. And because of who and what, we know that the Lord has the opportunity. Saul was called to be hell to Israel. Even if he was hell, that was his assignment. So he was doing the work of the Most High by being the hell to them that he was. So sometimes we have to let people be the hell that they are in our lives. Sometimes we have to let people be the devil that they're assigned to be for our purpose. And we can't, even if we know that we can defeat them if we wanted to, we can't do anything to validate our actions and come against what the Lord is saying to do. It is a hard situation. It is a hard situation that we have to go through. Endurance, like the word says, the race is not given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but the one who endures to the end. We have to endure sometimes. We have to endure that person is getting on your last nerve. That person is trying you every time they get the opportunity. That person that probably wants you dead as opposed to assisting you. Grace, mercy, and peace, Apostle Michelle. We have to understand that when the Lord has assigned somebody, no matter what their assignment is, they're going to be just that. And even though David could take down Saul if he wanted to, because as you see, the priest just gave him the sword that he got from Goliath when David cut his head off with it. So if I can kill Goliath that Saul was afraid of, I can definitely take down Goliath if I wanted to. And we have to understand that sometimes, you know what I mean? If I wanted to, but I don't want to. There are 9 fruit of the Spirit, and the last one is self-control. And a lot of times we have to learn how to practice our self-control because we lose it. We lose it. We lose it, and we let the enemy have is. Sometimes we need to speak to people. Sometimes we need to reach out. Sometimes we need to vent. Sometimes you have to cry. My mother used to sing a song says, "Trouble in my way, I have to cry sometimes." Sometimes you just need to release that. But don't lose your control. Don't let the enemy get where he wants you to go so that you end up in a worse situation by acting on your emotions as opposed to acting on your knowledge. Because self-control or intrapersonal communication, how you communicate with yourself, is a mandate. Otherwise, we would be killing each other left and right every time somebody got on our nerves. But see, this is what the Lord is looking for. I'm looking for somebody who's strong enough not to fight, but not to fight. I don't need somebody who's able to fight. I need someone who is able not to fight. I need someone who's going to close their mouth when they know they could speak out and roar. But once, as I always say, lions don't have to walk around roaring. We already know who we are. And everybody else that knows a lion when it comes along. I don't need to walk around saying I'm a king. I don't need to walk around with a crown. I don't have to walk around because I'm kingdom. I don't have to walk. I need to represent kingdom. You don't always have to say what you are because sometimes people want to prove the badness in you. Just like our Messiah was tempted on the mountain by the devil. If you're the Son of God, do this. If you're the Son of God, do that. You know, only so I can say I made you do what your father, what you know your father wouldn't want you to do. Some people want you to lose your self-control. That's it. Because once you lose that, that means you have no control over anything else you do. Anything else you do. It just takes the first step. And so the enemy wants to be the provocational part of your time. And if you have not only, I don't want the dance of David, I want the patience. I want the loyalty that David had. I don't need his dance. I gotta have my own dance. But I need the patience that he had. That when the enemy comes against him and he knew he could have defeated him, he still was able to keep silent and say, you know what? The Lord told him to be that. I'm not going to go against the Lord. It is not the enemy that you're worried about. It's the Lord who sent the enemy to you. That's why it says a spirit um, from Elohim came over Saul. It didn't say a spirit of Elohim. There's a big difference because the evil spirit from him means he sent it or he allowed it to come. It didn't mean it was part of who the Lord is. There's a difference of something being of the Lord and from the Lord. Just like when the enemy wanted to go to Job, he said, have you considered my servant Job? He's an upright man. He gave him permission to go, but it didn't mean that the devil or the evil spirit was of him, part of him, part of his spirit. It was not that. It just means he gave him permission to come. So when the evil spirit from the Lord comes to your door, you have to sometimes just accept, not sometimes, all the time, accept it. Accept it and walk over it. I'm saying this to myself right now. Accept it. As I'm looking on the screen and I see me, it's because I needed to hear this myself. That I'm going to have to accept some things because it is from the Lord. For whatever purpose that he sends it, for whatever time that he sends it, because at the end, my victory is going to be greater than my toil. And that's what the word says in the Beatitudes of the Bible. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. Great is my reward. So hold that self-control. Hold that self-control. And as we look at David, once again, David, the habitual narcissistic liar that he was, the Most High was still able to use him, not only to save Israel, but to come and be the assistant for the house of Saul. Even when Saul and Jonathan was dead, he said, is there no one here from the house of Saul that I can bless for Jonathan's sake? And then he went on to be the king. And this is where our lineage from the Most High, from the Messiah comes, from David. So yes, I can have issues. I can have problems. I can have all kind of mental things going on. And guess what? The Most High can still use me. It doesn't give me permission or doesn't validate what I did, because one thing that David did, he always repented. He was sorry, truthfully sorry for what he did. Truthfully sorry. And so the Lord knew his heart. The Lord knew that I don't want to get in trouble. It's just sometimes I don't know how to stay out of it. I'm trying. And Lord, you know I'm doing this. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to do this. And I'm praying to you all the time. All of the psalms that we hear, we think that David's somewhere laying in the grass just singing to the Lord. No, he's running from people killing him. So which one of us can give thanks to the Most High while arrows are going over our heads and people are shooting things at us and coming at us trying to take our lives, as David did? Do you truly want to dance like David danced? Which one of us can go through what David went through? Yes, he was a liar, yep. But a lot of us lie about our age, lie about our income, and all the rest of that stuff. And I'm not justifying David's lying, heart, but he was trying to save his life. So which one of us can say, if I dance like David danced, I can go through what David went through? I can serve and still be on a target on my back by the one that I'm serving. Do you really want to dance like David danced? Try to live David's life. David had firstly, when he was assigned to first come to be with Saul, he had to lose his livelihood, everything that he knew. Then he had to come and when Saul's, brothers, he was taken from his home, and then Saul wanted him to stay and at the kingdom and stay there and play the harp and everything else like that. Everything that I knew growing up that I loved, I had to be taken away. Then I get married and have to run away. Then I'm going through all this and I'm losing it. I had to lose my friend Jonathan. I had to lose my place around the kingdom. I had to lose all these different things. But grace, mercy, and peace, Rabbi Shana, and we look and we see the issues that we face, like David did. You know, David had lost many things. You know, David lost so many different things. He went through so much. He lost so much. He's fearing for his life. Every day he's running from Saul that he know he can beat. But I have to keep my self-control intact. David the fugitive. I'm a fugitive because that's what I was labeled as, not because I wanted to be. Grace, mercy, and peace, Evangelist Sharon. We have to make sure that we are able to not stand around what people are doing, but am I truly able to be a part of what people are doing? Am I truly able to stay there and say, you know what, I can hang? You know, the Bible says that to him much is given, much is required. That's just an invitation. It's not, a mandatory thing. I just wanted to, in case you would like to say something, is always available. Um, so, I have my Walking by Faith family that I always speak about on here. So I just want to let y'all know this is who I'm speaking to. I love you all. It is a pleasure to have you. Um, I want to ask as well, while I'm in this vein, um, Evangelist Corley and Sister Larkin, well, Evangelist Corley's son and Sister Larkin's nephew was put in the hospital today because his immunity system is just acting out, and he's 3, and it seems like bless you so much. It seems like the enemy is really trying to attack him. He's like in a hospital every month, but he always comes out. So he knows the hospital, but he knows the Lord because for some reason the Lord always brings him out. So I would ask, that you all submit your prayers to. His name is Zion, and we want to keep him in prayer that his little body stays strong to endure what the enemy wants to discourage his mother and his aunt from doing by giving their service to the Lord, so they're not able to be on as they always, are on this platform. So with that, I just wanted to ask, those prayers. So going back to our subject before we end, my thing is, I don't, like I said, I don't need David's dance. David had his own dance. I have Benjamin's dance because there's a reason David's dance was according to David's issues. Benjamin has his own dance according to his issues. Yes, ma'am. Hallelujah. And because of the issues that David went through, he danced how he danced. But there's a dance. When I come through my issues, trust me, people are gonna be making songs about we gonna dance like Benjamin dance. We gonna dance like Benjamin dance. Because the enemy is just going to keep trying. If the enemy is not after you, that means you're not doing anything worth him coming for you. And I'm encouraged by how much the enemy is on my track, even in the people that I call family. You know, even in the people that I call family, the enemy is still coming behind me. And we realize even the first homicide in the Bible was between siblings. Cain and Abel. So we can't put anything past because we're related, through a bloodline. So I'm just grateful that my purpose on this earth is something that the enemy has to come after me about. It must be something worth having. It must be something worth coming against me with. So even as I stand here on this broadcast, I might get about 6 or 7 views in its entirety. But I'm not doing this for views. I'm doing this for service. And many people can get discouraged. But like I said earlier, when I was looking at that camera, what I was saying was for me to hear. Therefore, faith cometh by hearing. The first person that heard what I said was my own ears. So I'm grateful for the Lord letting me be able to speak through me. Speak through me. To hear what I'm saying. Because a lot of times we can speak the word and don't live it. But when we got to hear it from our own mouths, guess what? It's because you needed to hear it. And I definitely needed to hear what I was saying. Stop running from the enemy. Stop running from the enemy. Sometimes we have to stand 10 toes down and fight. We're going to have to fight. And yes, Saul, now I'm going to say this. The Lord used David, and I said this last week. Sometimes we have to know when we have to leave because he was loyal to the man that was trying to kill him while he was being loyal in that place. David wasn't stupid enough to stay around and let Saul be throwing axes and stuff like that while he's playing the harp for him. He knew he had to get going. So we have to know how to decipher when it's time to be gone and when it's time to stay there. Like the word says, be still and know that I am El. I am. That's his name. I am. Just like our Messiah said to Thomas, and people haven't really gotten that yet. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He's not saying Jesus Christ is the way. He was saying, I am is the way, the truth, and the life. But no one can come into the Father but by me. So understand that this is our time to be able to fight. The Bible lets us know that we must fight the good fight of faith. And David, I don't know this crazy thing because I'm really finding these things out about David myself. No problem. I understand. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that, Rabbi. I do not. I do not need to say that much more because I'm learning as I'm teaching. I'm learning as I'm teaching. Because when the Spirit showed me the things about David, because everybody thinks David was this humble kid or a kid at all. He wasn't a kid. He wasn't a kid. He was just young. And when we have to look and see who people are, it gives us more of an ability to understand how to appreciate what they did, because I couldn't understand why was David celebrated so much. Why do we need to be celebrated so much? Because there's so many things that many of us that have gone through many things, and we still are serving the Most High the way that we're supposed to. There are many times that we don't realize somebody's story while they're trying to give the Lord praise. There are many times we don't understand somebody's endurance and why they need help and why doctors need doctors and psychiatrists need to be seen and all these different things. We don't understand that because it's a lot to actually deal with serving the Lord, trying to do that right when the enemy is so busy trying to keep me from doing it. trying to keep me from doing it. And every time I break free, he's coming back with 7 more. So you mean to tell me every day that I have to endure what I'm going through, I have to come back with 7 more? 7 things that are worse than the first? It's crazy. So we celebrate one another for enduring. We celebrate one another. We don't tear each other down. We celebrate one another. Because sometimes you're on a run, and I think, you're just running, but you're running from, for your life and your mental. Sometimes we just need to know that prayer is just a mandatory thing. I don't need to know what you're going through. I don't need to know what you're living or what anything else like that. Right now, the only thing I can do is nothing. I can pray for you. The Lord can do it. The king lost his life trying to help David because he knew who's loyal. Who's more loyal to you, Saul, than David? He laid down his life for you, just like Jonathan told you. He laid down his life, and the Lord won great battles from, for Israel through him. Why are you trying to kill him? I didn't know anything about your affairs. That's not any of my concern. As a matter of fact, I'm in all the way in the Philistine land. I'm in the Philistine land. I have the sword of Goliath here with me. Hey. But I still know that David is loyal. That judgment factor that we like to put on people, not understanding that people, we go through things. Yeah, David might have slipped up or anything, and he's not doing what you like or whatever like that, but he's loyal to you, Saul. And the king said, you know what? Even though you're a priest, I'm going to kill you. And I'm going to kill yours, and I'm going to kill every other priest. That's how bad some people want our heads. That anybody that's concerned with us or affiliated with us, they'll kill them too. They'll kill them too. And that's exactly what Saul did. But Saul said, you know what? I'm not going to kill him. Y'all kill him. And they were like, no, we're not killing the priest. So he called the Edomite. He said, you hate Israelites anyway. You kill them. And they gladly did it. But you see, Saul kept his hands clean. He didn't do it. He could have struck the priest down if he wanted to. But guess what? That's the type of things that we're under today. So in everything, I want to say to you all, I thank you all for allowing yourselves to take out of your busy schedule. I know you have things that you have to do in ministry and everything else like that. And I'm glad that you accepted our invitation to have you. I just want to say that I love you. I still want to give, as I always do, to my brother, Overseer Apostle Kevin Miller, to Apostle Michelle Miller, to Pastor Tony Smothers, to the Assistant Pastor Craig Pruitt, and to my whole entire Walking by Faith family. Thank you for being here and showing your support and your love at all times. And I love you guys endlessly. I want to say those that are always here with Yahweh's Transitional Church, Sister Minister Larkin, Evangelist Corley, Pastor Larkin, Mother Larkin, we thank you so much again. And if I can just give the Lord thanks for anything, is for having family and support. Thank you so much. And it means a lot. It means a lot because ministry is lonely. Ministry is lonely. And it doesn't mean ministry is alone, but you don't have to be alone to feel lonely. So thank you for always showing yourselves available, that the loneliness is not able to contend. So again, I want to say to you, don't look for David's dance. Look for your purpose and let someone dance like you. because the Lord has a reason that you might be on the run, but He's definitely has a reason for you to get a victory. And so I don't need to dance like David danced. He did that already. That's his thing. I'm going to dance like Benjamin danced. When the Lord brings me out, I'm going to dance like Benjamin danced. Yep. So I'm going to say on my last 3 words, as I always say, my last benediction: grace, mercy, and peace. And I will see you again. Shalom.